Hi and welcome to the video tarot forecast for July. I'm sorry it's a couple of days late. As you may or may not know, the astrology is really heating up and is currently, well, red hot, if not white hot in the skies at the moment, and going into the full moon this weekend, which has resulted in me being in a car accident, a very, very mild one. It was just my car that was scraped on Monday, just when I was going to drive home to record the reading. And then that kind of segued into a migraine at the end of the day, which seemed like a perfect ending to a very high pressure day. And it seems to be easing at the moment, so I thought I'd make the most of a lull and to record the reading today and to get it out to you definitely in time for the weekend. And just apologies in advance if there are any scratches at the door. We have a new cat, and he's absolutely hell-bent on getting into any of the action that he can. So as soon as there's a closed door in his face and voices on the other side, it's particularly compelling for him to then want to see what's going on. So we'll hope that he behaves himself and stays quiet. So, as always with the reading, this for every month, we're going to do a 3-card reading with specific meanings for each position of the card. I've shuffled the deck. I am going to set the intentions just now, but the card positions that we're looking at is from left to right. They're going to be the foundation. So something about what you're coming in with into the reading with, whether it's an experience, whether it's a part of you that is foundational to what is going to be happening in the second card, which is the current weather, the cosmic weather, in terms of a sort of weather report to prevailing conditions that are going to be stemming from the foundation card, will be obviously then connected to the foundation card, and then will be having their effect on you and through you and with you and on those around you as well. So it's always worth bearing in mind with these readings that while you are primarily at the center of the reading, it doesn't mean that the reading starts and ends with you. Everything is connected to everything else. So it might be interesting for you to see if there are cards that are drawn today that seem to be taking place around you as much as they are taking place inside you, and perhaps more so around you than inside you. And see if you can some way follow a thread back into you as well, because there will be a connection there. So we've got the foundation, we've got the current weather, and then always what I do with this reading is that the third card is a tool that you can use in order to better navigate the current weather. I think that readings that are grounded in a certain practicality where you can apply something are much more useful than those readings where you are just feeling like you're learning information but not really knowing what to do with it. So the intention here is that the tool is going to be something that you will recognize that can be used in those circumstances where the reading starts to apply in your life. So without further ado, we are going to do the reading. I've shuffled the deck. I'm going to set my 2 intentions around the reading, which always are that it is whatever you are ready to see, and also that the reading is for your greatest good, and then by extension the greatest good of everyone and everything connected to you. But always I bring you back to the center of the reading, because as always you are the only person who you can really affect with your decisions in a direct and meaningful way. So I have shuffled, as I said, several times. Excuse me, my brain is definitely still getting over the migraine. I've cut the deck, and I'm going to go for the center of the sort of subdecks that I've cut in 2. And now I'm going to put the cards down from left to right, and I'm going to turn them over one at a time. So this is the foundation. This card is going to speak to something that has been going on. It's not that it's going to happen. It will be something that we hope is in a way familiar to you, if only because it's something that's been playing behind the scenes, or perhaps even more center stage in your life in the last few weeks, maybe even more recently than that. So we have the Prince of Discs. Interesting when a court card comes up for the foundation, because it can be one of several things. I'm going to, because I do the reading really from your perspective first, it's going to be about, I'm going to be speaking about the Prince of Discs in terms of an aspect of your own character. So for those of you who are not sure what the court cards are, Prince of Discs is one of them. In this deck, there's the princess and then the prince, and then together as the royal couple, there is the knight and the queen. The prince then is the second one up in terms of seniority. So the second to last, the princess being more junior, and I use that in inverted commas because there really is, in essence, no ranking as much as a different kind of quality. So the Prince of Discs being the quality of outward seeking, planning, and dealing with something in the tangible world. So discs, tangible world, and then the Prince being a directed, focused, doing quality. And the Prince of Discs is very much, as you can see here, he's got all of these plans on his mind, and that might be that you have some plans on your mind. And he's a great person to have plans on his mind if he's wanting to get something done, because he has a meticulous attention to detail. He is dedicated and devoted to seeing that vision through, as you can see with the light that is in his mind, that is also then being reflected through his eyes. And he could be stubborn about seeing it through as well, and that can stand him in very good stead to get that vision realized in some tangible way in his world. So I wonder if there is an aspect of you and or an aspect of something or someone around you who is devoted in bringing a plan through into fruition. And this plan may have been going on for some time. You can see that the plans and the actual architectural drawings on the crown of the prince, or the headdress of the prince, are very detailed and they are very precise. So there is that precision, but also it's taken time for something to take shape. And it may only have taken shape theoretically or on paper. And that on paper may be metaphorical or literal. It may be that you have literally been mapping something out. It may be that you've just been waiting for all of these various elements to come into place for this plan, that you're not quite sure what it is, how it's going to look like in real life, but you have been gathering vital parts of information. You may be completely aware of this plan. It may be that you look at this and think to yourself, oh yes, no, I have been planning for a while. There is this project that I've been working on. And also in terms of an aspect of personality, it could be that the Prince of Discs has also been working behind the scenes, and it's only now that you're starting to see that something is coalescing into some form of tangible reality, and that there has been a method to your dogged madness over the last few days, weeks, perhaps even months. Although the reading applies to the sort of generally the next 4 weeks or so, its influence may stem as far back as years. It could be something that you came in with birth. So for instance, if you relate to the Prince of Discs, it might be an aspect of your personality that you're intimately acquainted with and have been for as long as you can remember. And it can stretch on into the future as well. But what we're talking about is really the fact that it is at its heightened state of activity over this time in the next few weeks. So you have somehow been planning. You have a plan and you are going to see it through. This is what you bring in with you, and this is how you are going to contact with the current weather. And this is the current weather that is coming up now. The Chariot. So interestingly, the Chariot is it is associated with the sign of Cancer in astrology, and that is what we are in now, unless I am completely mistaken. We are in the sign of Cancer. So it very much reflects something that is going on now. I like the fact that when I look at the Prince of Discs and the Chariot together, they are both wearing helmets of some kind. Let me just see if I can just hold this up a little bit better. So they're wearing helmets of some kind, and there is that light in the Prince of Discs that is also coming out of the helmet in the Chariot. But you can see that these aspects are qualitatively different. So whereas the Prince of Discs is looking to the past, and it may be that the plans have been predicated on something that's in the past, it may be devotion to a particular something that has gone on that is now you're asking to bring into the present. So in other words, that the aspect of the Prince of Discs has got one eye on the past and one eye on the present. The Chariot is very much coming at us in this reading. The Chariot is also different because, unlike the Prince of Discs, which is a persona, an aspect of personality, the Chariot is an energy. It's an energy that is far greater than us as an archetypal energy of the major arcana, but it is an energy that we can feel and we can feel moving through us, and it's also an energy that we can harness and become, so we express it when it comes through our lives. It may also be coming at us from outside. Frequently, in terms of the Chariot, it can be the arrival of something or someone that that has been in the offing for quite some time. I like the idea actually here that the Prince of Discs has this light emanating from his eyes, and it's almost as if the charioteer, the chariot driver, the Formula One driver, has that light reflected in the helmet. It's almost as if the visor is reflecting the prince back, as if they are looking at each other, but it's also coming from inside, so it could very well be an aspect of you as well that is racing forward to meet you. So with the Chariot, the current weather, it is about, when you put it in perspective of the Prince of Discs, which is this planning, this attention to detail, the Chariot is about having to line things up, to get aligned inside in order to create some forward motion. It is the union of opposites. It is about getting all four wheels on that Formula One racing car in line, because a Formula One racing car is a high precision beast of a car. And it's something that the Prince of Discs would be perfectly able to design. And the thing about that high precision beast of a car is that if you have your steering wheel even turned slightly to one side or the other, you put your foot in the accelerator and you're going to, at best, spin into a circle, at worst, lose grip of the road entirely. So it is about being able to meet a particular force in a balanced way, but that balancing is coming from inside. It is about bringing these two aspects of you together. The Chariot is frequently about the bringing together of the masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. If those two words don't sit so well with you, then it's to do with the yang aspect and the yin aspect, the active aspect and the receptive aspect, the light aspect and the dark aspect. So it's really about that marrying together and finding that way of doing that, so that there is then the forward motion in a way that is meaningful and productive and also efficient and cooperative. And so from a planning point of view, it's really about getting all of your ducks lined up so that you can put this plan into action, because the activating principle, that idea of the charioteer, is coming. If not here right now, definitely on the horizon, and will be in sight very soon. But there is a tremendous amount of focus in both of these cards. So there is something here that really is quite specific in its design and quite specific in the path that it needs to take, particularly the path that the Prince of Discs is wanting it to take, and he's very clear about that. And he has built on some kind of foundation in the past to be able to bring this forward. What the Prince of Discs now needs to do is, instead of paying close attention to his plans, so in other words, if you're in the planning stage, instead of paying close attention to what's in front of you, whether it's a physical plan or whether it's a plan in your head, stop going over the detail. You've done as much as you can. Stop looking back to make sure that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, because it's going to be very, very soon, if not imminent, if not now, that those plans are going to need to be put into action. You've done really as much as you can. It is about now implementation. So it'll be in the implementation phase, and we are right in that, in being in Cancer in the zodiac. So we have that. We have the Chariot, which is wonderful if you want the green light to go with something, I then have still in mind the idea of a Formula One racing cars at the at the starting line, and then with the green light going, and that's really what you're getting, or you will be getting very soon. And so the cosmic weather is really about saying, yes, you can implement something, but it will be that you have to know what you're doing. And you really should know what you're doing, given the fact that you have the Prince of Discs. So there's no being able to do this in a slapdash way. There's no way of being able to do this and then hoping that somehow it's going to just come through because you're not feeling quite organized enough, or leaving anything to chance. It really is going to ask you to step up and integrate in a way that is going to be worthy of the kind of cause or the worthy of the project that you have in mind. And if you still don't know what that project is, I would suggest that you probably will relatively soon. And in terms of a tool that you can use, and this might be then something that you can really learn to apply in order to balance those energies in the chariot, in order to be able to sit behind the wheel of a Formula One vehicle, or be able to negotiate the Formula One vehicle coming into your life without feeling that it's too powerful or you're not up to the task, because you are. So here is the tool. Interesting. Your heart. That's the tool. So you have this childlike ability to embrace the emotional unknown, to be able to relax and let go into something. So it's a very interesting foil for the Prince of Discs, who really is like, no, I've got this, and I need to get a handle on this, and I need to map this out precisely. And then there's the Princess of Cups, who's going, oh, but don't worry. Don't worry. I mean, I trust enough to be able to let go into my own feelings and into my own feeling state, and know that I am safe and held, because my being held is not conditional upon anything other than the very nature of who I am. In essence, I'm made to fly, and that's really what the Princess of Cups is about. So if you marry these together, then what you have is this preparation in order to be able to let go, and let go in a way that is also an emotional letting go, or a letting go into emotion. The prince has been very disciplined about keeping things on a practical level, and with the arrival of the chariot, it's going to ask that things shift gears really into a more feeling-based, intuitive level. So if you notice, the Princess of Cups is alone. This kind of feeling is, as I said, it's not answerable to or dependent on anything other than how she is feeling in and of herself. And it is almost as if the foundation work for the Prince of Discs allows her to be set free. So I wonder if there is an aspect of you that has done all of this planning that then allows you to just be able to throw yourself headlong into whatever it is that you have constructed, in a way that you act as if you trust that that is exactly what you should be doing at the moment, because it is exactly what you should be doing at the moment. And everything else will take care of itself, no matter what the consequences. If you look at the Princess of Cups, she really doesn't mind about consequences. It's not that she doesn't care about consequences, they aren't there. She is simply there to do this. And this is something you can apply in the current conditions in which you are working, particularly as it pertains to where your Prince of Discs meets with that charioteer that is driving towards him, both of them with a shared vision, both of them needing to get this plan into action, particularly the charioteer, who now is going to be taking over from the prince's intellectual planning stages and running with it. So let me know what you think of the reading, if it's starting to apply in your life. If you have any questions, by all means message me privately, or you can post underneath the reading. But otherwise, I will leave you with a reading that feels particularly potent. a lot of action and a lot of balance in terms of the elements there, and in terms of the presence of a major at the center of the reading, always bringing it back to the idea that no matter what it is that you're doing or who it is that you feel that you're being, there is a larger agenda of soul, and that's really what's driving things right now. Thank you very much, and I will see you next month. Take good care.